We're back with the best tier list ever invented. Last time I did this, you guys really liked it, so I'm bringing it back. I'm going to be putting together the top 10 characters who are not top 10. More so highlighting characters in the meta that are really good, but not of the standard of controlling the whole game. Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys, and in this video here, we're back with another best units that are not top 10 tier list. Now, before we get into this video, I got some things to clear up based on some comments that I saw on the previous tier list. First, I gotta start with the fact that I'm doing this tier list to show some love to characters that are not the meta dominant ones. But the way those tier lists make it seem, these characters that I would mention in this list are completely unusable, which is far from the truth. I'm also doing this because I haven't been sweating PvP like I used to. I'm a 56 times god rank player, so I've been kicking back and just enjoying the Dragon Ball Legends air. Next, a lot of people said this is just an 11 to a 20th list, and that's not completely true, because when people make top 10s, there's an honorable mention section, which could be from 5 to 10 characters. Some characters in the honorable mentions of a meta top 10 list would just be too good to be in this tier list, because in other people's eyes, those honorable mention characters could actually be top 10. So this is not necessarily an 11 to 20th list, this could be 20th to 30th, but it's more so how you see it. But with me saying that, I need you guys to realize with this list, if somebody isn't here, it might be that they're too good to be in this list, meaning that they're more so fitting for a top 10 list or honorable mentions in a top 10 list, referring to the meta one, or they're just so bad that I couldn't put them in here either. And the last thing, because of the nature of this list, it's actually a lot harder to do than a meta tier list. There's so many characters I can easily miss out. In the last tier list, people pointed out that I missed out Garlic Jr., and I definitely did. So I'm gonna try to do better on this tier list, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's get into this. Now, as per, we cannot get into a tier list without shouting out the boy Dingy, DNGEE_YT. He's now on the grind to 5,000 followers on Twitter, so go ahead and give him a follow. He's the reason I'm able to do this tier list, because he makes the template, and if you want to make your own template, go to his Twitter page, press this tweet, and then you'd be able to make a tier list depending on what tier list you want to do. So you can see there's the meta one, Ultra Ink animations, and the team tag one. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the fan service and the honorable mentions as usual. I've got them both here, and all I've done is simply color code them. I'm not ordering them. But if we start with the fan service tier, it's literally just characters that people might want to see mentioned. Some of these I was close to putting them into the honorable mentions, two specifically being the likes of Free to Play 18, Glorio. I'll even slide in there Trunks and Vegeta, and this green Super Saiyan Trunks. But I think the other fan service characters, they're just below par of being mentioned in the honorable mentions. For example, the Daima Goku is actually a sleeper, but he's not insane or anything, you know. But I used them alongside Tamagami 3 and, of course, the Daima Goku Super Saiyan Mini, whatever you want to call him, and he was pretty solid. But those are just the fan service tier, so we're not going to focus too much on them. If we go to the honorable mentions, these guys here can put in some work depending on how you use them. There's some specifically I want to mention. Like I said, they're not ordered, but I just color coded them. So the Boo Bros, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, those guys are actually good. They're a big sleeper option. They can actually put in work, especially with the fact they're on Majin Buu Saga. Don't sleep on them. Outside of that, I want to mention Beast Gohan. I believe he has the ability to seal rising rushes. He also cancels buffs himself, and he's red, which is a major play in attacking those guys that are yellow right now, Ultra Majin Vegeta. I think he might also seal main abilities, which is against Ultra Majin Vegeta's snipe, which could be effective. Shin as well, with his ability to disrupt, I think that's a nice factor, and then you could even add Broly in for those reasons as well. But these other guys, for example, Bardock and Goku, it's just they're indestructible, but that could be a con if you think about it. Ultra Broly with his combo breaking, specifically him being purple, is also a plus because of how many greens there are. And UI Goku is really just because of his playstyle type. He can snipe, but he's also going to dodge, so if you play smart, you won't take damage. Those are my fan service and honorable mentions here. I think they're really good, especially once you see the 10 to 1 spots. And we're going to be going in 2s just like I did last time. But let me know what you guys think about this. I tried to add more honorable mentions because I usually put 7. I think I have 8 this time. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I have 8. So I added 1 in each tier this time because somebody said more honorable mentions, so I added more in each tier. Let me know what you guys think. I said I was going to do this in 2s, but I'm going to do it in 1s. It's just easier for me when I go ahead and edit the video. But the first one we got here is Legends Limited Super 17. I've got him here for 2 reasons, right? The main thing is his element. So his element being able to counter the best unit in the game, Ultra Majin Vegeta, is an absolute big plus. And outside of that, It's really just the fact that his green card will allow him to get easy combos, but that could also be a downside if it's specifically against Ultra Margin Vegeta because of his blast counter. But there's some other factors that I will mention right now. For example, when he hits you with a tap attack of any kind, he's able to lock your strikes and blues, which is very, very effective for a lot of units nowadays that want to do big damage. And a lot of units are melee orientated or have a lot of strike cards in general, so Super 17 will be able to get around that. But he's not as great as he used to be, but he does pair well with one of the best units in the game, Legends Limited Vegito Blue, the green one. And it's a very good element in general as well, because green covers blues that would damage Super 17, so they can pair well together, both being range type and fusion warriors. The only downside I would say about Super 17 is that the way to super buff him would be to run him on androids or powerful opponents, whereas if you're running him on fusion warriors, the fusion warrior buffs aren't exactly tailored towards him, so it won't give him the best odds of doing damage, and he pretty much does no strike damage. But he has a lot of other things. I think I already mentioned his green cards. He has a ultimate on the cover change, which is a nice little touch. You know, he can do damage here and there. He cancels buffs as well, which is a nice addition to the team. So he's not to be slept on completely, but he's obviously not one of the best units in the game. But because he can be paired with some other good characters, like I mentioned, Vegito Blue, he's in the game to be used. If you have him at a decent star level, you can get some results out of him. But I'm not going to prop him like he's one of the best units in the game or anything like that. We've got him at 10. Oh, my camera flashed there, but don't worry about that. But he might rise higher, depending on my afterthoughts when I finish making this tier list. So Super 17 to start off this really good but not top 10 tier list. Here we got Evil Majin Buu, and Evil Majin Buu for similar reasons like Super 17, only with the addition that Evil Majin Buu has a really nice team. Like a super team at that, not just a really nice team, an absolute super team. So Evil Majin Buu, his element is green, and that puts him in a pretty safe spot. You know, there's only 2 purples that you'd have to look out of when you're talking about the top tier meta units, which would be Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Ultimate Gohan. And people would even say Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is not a top tier meta unit. But clearly, as long as Ultra Margin Vegeta isn't on the battlefield, people run him as soon as they can. You know, you just avoid the snipe. So out of all the greens that exist in right now, you know, you have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Vegito Blue, Evil Majin Buu comparing with there if you don't have any of those and you run them with Majin Buu Saga units, Ultra Majin Vegeta. He also cancels buffs and he has good disrupt, but he's much easier melted now in comparison to how he was in his prime, and he's better off put on a powerful opponent team, but he can be that extra unit that you can use if you don't have the main guys, which is why he's making this list. He's not to be completely slept on. He has good healing factors, combo breakage, you know what I'm saying? He even can do some damage because he has an ultimate art, and I believe his blast damage can be really nice. Don't underrate him at all, but he's not one of the best units either. But he is a good substitute. It's just that he's got so many replacements on his team, specifically the Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But if you want to use this guy for breaking combos but also cancelling buffs, he can serve a purpose on the team if you didn't want to go ahead and summon for the new Goku, which is why he's on this list. Keeping him at number 9, but again, it's up for further evaluation as we get to the end of this tier list. Next up, we've got Super Baby 2, and the only reason he's above the 9th and the 10th spot is because he has a replica, or rather something was taken out of his kit and put onto Ultra Majin Vegeta. What I'm talking about is his ability to snipe with his ultimate. If you catch anybody that's purple with Super Baby 2 while your gauge is full, if he doesn't unleash a blue card to empty his gauge, he can use an ultimate and that will lock you in, no switching. And that would allow him to do a lot of damage. That alone is enough to keep him high on this list if you're using him correctly, plus you have him a decently amount starred. All of these units on this list won't be the greatest anyway, so stars will be a factor. Super Baby 2, he's also just a great all-rounder, which is slept on. If he just had like buff cancellation and endurance, he would be a top 5 to maybe 10 unit to this day, seriously, because of his lock-in specifically, but then adding all of that all-rounding factors. So for example, he has defensive traits because of his gauge and breaking combos. He has offensive traits because of his lock-in, but he can also do crazy blue card damage. He can also remove your vanish. He heals a lot and he supports his team. So he does a lot all around, but of course you can put him on teams such as Saiyans because of his tags as well. So his versatility is nasty. Powerful opponents, GT, regeneration. This guy is a complete all-rounder, which is why I have him at the 8th spot. Super good option. His element as well is basically countering those guys that want to bring out the purples to counter the abundance of greens that are available right now. So that's why he has some stock. Respecting him at 8th. Again, up for evaluation. Everybody on this list is. At the end of this video, I'm going to sit on it and look at the list and maybe consider if he should move up or down at the end. At number 7, we've got Garlic Jr. here. Now, this was somebody that people said I snubbed in the previous one, so I'm taking this one a bit more serious and taking a lot more time into this one, because the last one I didn't take it too seriously. I was just putting in characters that people might like to see and characters that I know are good but people don't respect because they're not top 10 in the meta list. But Garlic Jr., boy, I can't believe I forgot him last time because he's actually insane. But now more than ever, because there's so many good greens, specifically the two Vegito Blue and Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Garlic Jr. can have a purpose in tanking. I feel like he's a second-rate Tamagami 3, especially with him not being on the boost, but trust me, this guy could even look a bit better because he even has endurance. Now, in terms of this guy's defenses, he is a Hall of Fame brick wall, especially if you give him the right bench. Outside of that, he also weakens the enemy. So not just being defensively great, he's also going to make the enemy's offenses weaker, so such as their strike and blast power, I believe, and their ultimate and blue card power. He also has the effect where he's able to nullify destroy cards, so his combos won't be cut short in that sense. But there's not much more to go about Garlic Jr., to be honest. It's the endurance factor that makes him nice, the tanking factor that makes him nice, and the enemy won't be able to do damage to him. Actually, I missed out one major factor. He's a healing demon. He's a healing demon, bro. I believe he heals so often. Like, I think it's like every other card. Boy, for like the first 4 cards or something like that, maybe more. Someone correct me, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Garlic Jr. not just tanking, but he's gonna regen the health. He's gonna regen the health, and that makes him an essential factor. I already mentioned his element, so he's in a very good spot to be used. Being purple, you can go against all these greens and also tank the damage against these greens. So it's a very good position that he's in general. If you did want to run him and you do have him, obviously everything in this list is pretty much going to be star reliant. He's going to do a job for you, and that job, well, you gotta pay him, man. You gotta pay him. He's a good unit here. I've got him at 7. I just think the units above him are going to be better. But again, everybody's up for evaluation at the end of this list. Next up, we got Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and I've actually decided to move him down on this list simply because the purpose that he serves is a lot less, with a lot of better greens existing. Now, this guy's still really good, don't get it twisted, with his endurance and whatnot, but he doesn't have the ability to cancel buffs, so let's just throw that out. At this point, almost everybody cancels buffs, specifically the 2 newest units, the Daima Goku and the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They both cancel nullify endurance, so it's very easy to break through him. Now, he does add stuff to the team. For example, he has the anti-blast. He does become an amazing last stand unit. He has explosive greens, which can help you start combos. Obviously, his blue card counter and his regular counter, so he's not no bum on the battlefield or anything like that, but he's no longer the best option for like a weaker type of team. I also want to put out that Son family isn't as predominant as it was. If you're trying to run a really good team, futures above any team that Ultra Gohan's on. Of course, we have Majin Buu Saga just stacking odds against everybody else. Even God Ki can go against any team that Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is on. It's really crazy how the meta has shifted quite a bit, but not to say that he's a weak contender, because you could also just leader slot him if you just like the way his kit works. I do think he's amazing, which is why he's at 6, but I just think the guys above him are better, which is why I can't really go into detail, because this guy has a lot in his kit to really say that he's not great. Especially on the last list, I had him at number 1, but I will say, because there's a lot more opportunity for purples to come out, with the purples coming out, they are a big threat to the new guys, and if they're a big threat to the new guys, outside of there being also good yellows, Ultra Gohan probably stands less of a chance, which is why I have him lower on this list in comparison to the last one. Hopefully that is enough to justify him at 6. But I think it's good enough, that's my opinion though. Let me know what you guys think. God Goku above Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is a decision, but it's a decision I'm happy to make. Some people might be happy about this, some people might not be, but let me explain my reasons. Now, I feel like his synergy alone with Goku Black Rose is enough to put him above Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He fits more teams, so then he will have more value. They're both not the greatest element, but there's already better choices than them. But obviously fitting more teams is going to help you be along the board more than anything else. With the addition of Goku Black Rose, God Goku doesn't need to worry about not getting cover no easily, so he can actually have Rose work for him, and they're both on God Ki, which will work super well together. Rose will cancel buffs, so that will synergize super well with God Goku, so that he doesn't have to worry about his endurance just getting popped. If Rose's in, Rose can cancel the buffs, and then God Goku's endurance can get popped, while Rose also having endurance. That's a good team right there. You could also pair him with Vegito Blue, which is an extra factor. And then you also have Rose, which is the yellow that's protecting the greens from a purple. It just works a lot more better than any other team Ultra Gohan can go on. Now, if you want to say Ultra Gohan 1v1 is better than God Goku, I am not opposed to that in any way, shape or form. But if we think about it, the gap isn't that far. These aren't like insanely great meta units in the first place between God Goku and Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but God Goku is in a safer position. His ultimate is also a sleeper. They both have explosive greens, but one thing I will add for God Goku, at least he can block explosive greens, you know? So I'm going to give him the slight edge. I am going to respect him for this tier list. I think this might be a controversial one out of the whole list, but I don't think this whole list should be controversial in the first place, you know? It's more of a fun list anyways, but let me know what you guys think. I'm confident with having God Goku over Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan though. The team argument is just way too strong. His allies synergize better, and if you think about equips and that, it's over. It's over, man. Golden Frieza, Ultra Golden Frieza at number 4. Now, in a regular top 10 meta tier list, the only two purples you will probably see, besides from Tamagami 3, because he's new, would be Ultimate Gohan and Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But Ultra Golden Frieza is a contender for sure. You'd have to build the team somewhat around him because this guy's health is really, really low. It feels really low anyways, and if it's not that, his defenses are just so bad that if he's not juiced, it's over for him as well. But he has a comeback mechanic, so his second life allows him to get a second chance, you know. But it's really annoying that when he's able to get hit, so if he loses a priority, he will pretty much just get melted straight away, unless you buff him. Now, with the buffs you can add to him, there are some other good units that could fit alongside him. He's a powerful opponent in general, so you could leader slot him, or you could put him and the team that he would fit best on. So for example, Lineage of Evil, then you can put a leader slot option that would work well to add to his value, because he is a good unit once he has the buffs. His green card is amazing. It gives you pretty much everything in one. I think it's like a 5-in-1. I say multiple numbers all the time, but he gets Cover Null, Vanish, Damage, Cards, and Key. That's a lot of factors off just one card. That's absurd, man. Overall, a very good template. Punishes you for punishing him. When his comeback activates, he does damage to you. God forbid you're green, and there's a lot of greens right now, which is also a reason I'm pushing him as valuable. His ultimate is also a nuke. Good damage all around. He's just a good unit. If you wanted to use him, you'll get results out of him. I was actually using him recently with Corrupted Zamasu and Ultra Vegito Blue, with the base being Future, and Golden Frieza on the leader slot, which was actually really, really fun. Or was it Ultra Vegito Blue on the leader slot? I think it was UVB on the leader slot, and the rest was Powerful Opponent. Yeah. But that was really, really fun. Obviously, Ultra Golden Frieza, he has a strong kit. He's aged a lot, and that shows through his defenses and his damage output. But his damage output, when with the correct buffs, he's nice, man. He's nice. And his element is pushing him more than anything else, because we gotta get these greens out of here. Next up, we got Nappa and Vegeta, and I feel like this is a very big sleeper option. It could also be a hot take between them and having Golden Frieza, but I've got them above because they also synergize super well with Ultra Margin Vegeta. Being a Vegeta clan unit, you know that's going to work. You know it's going to work. But also them being purple, you could say they're potential victims to Ultra Margin Vegeta, the same with Golden Frieza, but both of these guys, Golden Frieza and Nappa and Vegeta, they have survivability. You know, Golden Frieza is going to punish you for taking out his comeback, but Nappa and Vegeta are going to just come back and be better, you know. Vegeta's side's obviously better than Nappa's side. They're both also on the same team, so they can work well, but I feel like Nappa and Vegeta have more team options, which I have them one above Golden Frieza. Being with the best unit in the game, Ultra Margin Vegeta, that just makes a lot of sense, and you can pair another Saiyan on that team and it would work, but you could also take them the powerful opponent route, which would also work. Nappa and Vegeta are also immune to a lot of things. I believe destroy cards, key reduction, so that's also a factor to having them alive. I think that's specifically Vegeta's side, but quote me on that if I'm wrong. And overall, being purple is a big plus in this day and age against the green. The green is probably the strongest element right now in the game. I've mentioned this a lot in this video about how purple is very good right now for green, and the main two options besides from Tamagami 3, because he's new, to counter those guys would be Ultimate Gohan and Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So you're going to need other options, and Nappa and Vegeta have been a sleeper since they released, because they released prior to the anniversary, so they never got time to really shine. Vegeta Clan in the anniversary could have been something with the Fusion Warriors, but people didn't use them. But now more than ever, with Ultra Margin Vegeta, they're in a really safe position to be run on that team. Ultra Margin Vegeta has already got survivability. Putting this guy next to them, it's just amazing, man. It just cooks brilliantly together, and you add that to the team. It's a nice touch. It's just a nice touch. But also they have also a lot of team versatility, which is why they're one above Ultra Gold and Frieza. Had to respect them for this tier list, this video, having them at number 3. Number 2, I was contemplating them being at number 3, but we've got the Zenkai Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta Blue from the Future arc. Now this guy's a really good support unit. They've pretty much made him better than he was, and in his prime he was tough, but the only difference is the meta is a lot more different now. But this guy, I believe he spawns a blue off his main. They gave him like disruption, so when he cover changes he destroys card now, which is nice. He's obviously just a generally good support unit for the future units, but also Vegeta clan, which is nice. His elements also nice, going against all these greens, which I've mentioned a bunch of times in this video, so he has stock because of that. The only thing is he doesn't have survivability, which is my worry, but because he's on future, that's a big plus against like everybody below. Being run with 2 of the newest units, Vegeta Blue and Rose, that's enough, man. That's actually enough. Put them on the team. Even still, the Hope Trunks you can run this guy with, and the team is tanky. Did I mention that this Vegeta can actually take a hit? He can take a big hit, man. They really gave him the buffs that he needed while being on a super good team, so you know that Future's already been getting buffs, so the options for Future are just great. But if you want to look at the other side, there's also Vegeta clan. I already mentioned the same things with Nappa and Vegeta. Ultra Margin Vegeta being a high stock unit, best unit in the game. Vegeta over here, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, is going to pair well with that. So naturally, it's good to take them together and give them the praise they deserve, putting them higher up on this list. I was also contemplating not even putting this Vegeta on this list because a lot of people run him with Future, so he might make an honorable mentions on a regular meta top 10 list, but I don't feel like he's being seen enough to be on one of those, so I decided to slide him in here at number 2. He could also be number 1 on this list, but I'm not going to put a number 1 for the unit that I have at number 1. I've got really good reasons for the unit I have at number 1, which we will get into right now. We've got our number 1 unit here, Ultra Vegeta Blue, and no, I am not glazing in any way, shape or form. I am dead serious. I have Ultra Vegeta Blue at number 1 because of multiple reasons. The first thing is that he's red. Any red unit that's actually good right now stonks, because the best unit in the game, Ultra Margin Vegeta, barely had any counters until the Diamond Goku dropped. But because Future is high up right now, having that red Ultra Vegeta Blue is amazing. Ultra Vegeta Blue, he's a good solo unit, you know. When he dropped in the 5th anniversary, the whole intention behind him is for him to be a one-man army. Of course, his damage has fell off a cliff, but he can still do crazy damage, and that's just referring to his peak. It can fall off a cliff but still be really high, you know. You slide down Mount Everest, you're not going to get to the bottom, you're still really high up, you know what I mean? If we're looking at Ultra Vegeta Blue, yeah, he also seals blue cards. Now this is a big plus, right? If you're fighting Ultra Margin Vegeta, it's a very good counter, and somebody mentioned this to me and I was thinking about it, like, that's actually insane. He's red, so he can take blue card damage from Ultra Margin Vegeta easily if his counter triggers. But if you want to trigger his counter intentionally, on the cover change in, you hit a blast card intentionally, and this guy will seal blue cards, and I believe he also seals rising rushes, which is nice. Ultra Vegeta Blue could also be that 3v1 unit for you, because every time he catches a body, he's able to, you know, get his vanish back. Also, if he rising rushes, he can nullify endurance. But it's more so his element pushing things and his team more than everything else. On his team, if we're looking at Future, if it's not him, it's going to be Corrupted Zamasu, if we're being real. And Corrupted Zamasu is really good, but he's also a Zenkai buffer for this guy, who they could be paired together. But I would say Corrupted Zamasu would get the slight edge over this guy. That's just my opinion, which is why Corrupted Zamasu is not on this list. I think he's closer to top 10 in general in the meta list, which is why I haven't mentioned it. But yeah, Ultra Vegeta Blue, he basically has one of the highest damage outputs on this list. His ultimate nukes, straight nuke machine. His combos are easily accessible, cover no very easily, nullifies endurance, he heals, can when he gets to half health, he goes type neutral defensively as well. Just a lot of things that you'd want very simply, and he's on a very good team, while his element is being one that's thriving right now when there aren't many of that element, which is why people are valuing Diamond Goku very highly right now. So that's why I have him at number 1. But I'm going to do some evaluation, so I'm going to sit at looking at this tier list for maybe like 5 minutes and then make my opinion. Alright, so I looked at the tier list for a while and I made 2 changes specifically. The first one, I moved Super 17 above Evil Majin Buu. I feel like both of these units don't have endurance. They both cancel buffs. But if I wanted to use one as an offensive unit, and with this guy just not being as meta relevant as he was, his defenses are bad, and so are Super 17s. Even though this guy can break combos, I'd rather have the offensive power that this guy offers over this guy's potential to break a combo and have defenses. So with him being red as well to attack Ultra Margin Vegeta, that guy is too scary to not get rid of. So I've moved Super 17 up 1 over Evil Majin Buu. Even gonna move him up 1 more over Super Baby 2. That offensive power is just a big deal, even though this guy locks in. Again, if you get melted before his gauge can activate, you know, that breaking combos is not going to tap in. So I'd rather have the offensive power that Super 17 would offer consistently. But that's where he stops, because Garlic Jr.'s ability to tank, I'd say, is more valuable than Super 17's damage in this day and age. Outside of that, I've actually put these two as interchangeables. In the same way that I mentioned these two, even though they are good combo breakers, their defenses are just not as good as it was back in the day in their prime. So for those reasons, I'm going to value defenses less and take Ultra Golden Frieza's offenses. Their offenses scale higher than how I'd value their defenses. They both have survivability. Even then, you could even argue that Ultra Golden Frieza is better, but I'm going to put Vegeta and Nappa above them because they are paired together well with Ultra Margin Vegeta, who's a Vegeta clan unit. So yeah, that's the only reason these two are like that. And then for the rest of the tier list, I'm keeping it as is. So let me know what you guys think about it, as this is my conclusion. UVB 1, Vegeta Blue 2, Nappa and Vegeta and Golden Frieza 3/4, potentially interchangeable, but I'm putting Nappa and Vegeta just slightly ahead, but if you put them other way, I wouldn't mind. God Goku 5, Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan 6, Garlic Jr. 7, Super 17 8, Super Baby 2 9, and Evil Majin Buu 10, and here are my honorable mentions alongside the fan service tier. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. People have been asking for more fun videos. The typical tier list that you see are gonna have the same units from every single content creator, so I'm doing something different to stand out. You know, everybody rocking all black, I gotta be different, so I'm rocking navy. But let me know in the comment section what you thought about the tier list. Tell me one thing specifically that you like and dislike. I think that's a good way to go about evaluation. But if you want to make your own tier list in entirety, you can go ahead and do that. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.